A sanctuary may be defined as a place where man is passive and the rest of nature is active. Till quite recently, nature has had her own sanctuaries where man either did not go at all or only as a tool using animal in comparatively small numbers. This is talking about primitive man, when men were small in number. But now it is in this machinery age, there is no place left where man cannot go with overwhelming forces at his command. He can strangle to death all the nobler wildlife in the world today. Tomorrow he certainly will have done so unless he exercises due foresight and self-control in the meantime. There is not the slightest doubt that birds and mammals are now being killed off much faster than they can breed. And it is always the largest and the noblest form of life that suffers most. The whales and elephants, lions and eagles go. The rat and flies and all mean parasite remain. This is inevitable in certain cases, but it is wanton killing or killing off that I'm speaking of tonight. Civilized man begins by destroying the very form of wildlife he learns to appreciate most when he becomes still more civilized. The obvious remedy is to begin conservation at an earlier stage when it is easier and better in every way by enforcing laws for close season game preserves the selective protection of certain species and sanctuaries. Okay, I have just defined a sanctuary as a place where man is passive and the rest of nature is nature active, but this general definition is too absolute for any special case. The mere fact that man has to protect a sanctuary does away with his purely passive attitude. Then he can be beneficially active by destroying pests and parasites like botflies or mosquitoes, and by finding antidotes. I think all of you know the meaning of antidotes for disease like the epidemic, which periodically kills off the rabbit and thus starves many of the carnivora to death. But except in cases where experiment has proved his intervention to be beneficial, the less he upsets the balance of nature, the better, even when he tries to be an earthly providence. Okay, now let's go to the first slide. Okay, now the word here, first word that we have is strangle. What is the meaning of the word strangle? To squeeze someone out of life. Okay, to strangle to death, as in to squeeze someone's neck to death or squeeze anything to death. Okay, choke someone. Okay, what is the meaning of foresight? Foresight means the ability to predict what will happen in the future. Okay, that's the meaning of foresight. Okay, now wanton killing. What is the meaning of the word wanton? Wanton is deliberate. Okay, something that is done willfully. Okay, so purposely, deliberate. So killing, not killing for self-defense or something like that, killing because they want to kill. Okay, so that is deliberate killing or wanton killing. Now then we have enforce. Enforce, I am sure you all know. Compel someone to do something. Okay, compel or impose. Let me just put impose or apply. All these words are from this section. Now, carnivora is an order of animals where you have animals like cats, dogs, hyenas. All these animals are there who have not just mammals. Okay, so it's an order of mammals where all these animals are included, and they have a very strong jaw to tear through food, and bears also are included in the same section. Okay, and they are used to cut fish and things like that. Sharp teeth and strong jaws. Okay, so that is carnivora. Okay. Intervention is just hindrance. Okay, obstacle. Okay, now what is the passage talking about? Now, did you understand the passage? So the passage, there's a man who's talking about how human beings are deliberately killing animals for their own good. And earlier so he starts with the past. Okay, he starts with how sanctuaries, okay, how nature had its own sanctuary and men were just a part of it. Okay, they were just the visitors. Now it has become the other way around. Now it is no more psychic I used for promoting. Now it is no more this same. The case has after the age of industries and so many guns and machines, men have become inevitable, means something that cannot be avoided, something that will happen no matter what. Okay, so something that cannot be avoided is inevitable. Yes, unavoidable circumstances or something like that. Okay, now so this is the whole idea of the passage where he talks about how the meaning of sanctuary, he defined it in the beginning of the passage, has changed. Now it has changed to something else. Now men have dominated the entire, and parasites and pesticides and all these animals which should be removed are not being removed, like mosquitoes and rodents and things like that. Animals who are very precious and are wild animals are being wantedly killed for their own good. Human beings are killing for their own good. Okay, so this is the whole implication of the passage. Okay, now let's discuss the questions. Let's see the questions. Now the first question that we have is, the author implies that his first definition of a sanctuary is, his first definition, I have just defined a sanctuary as a place where man is passive and the rest of the nature is active. Okay, so in rest of the nature active. Okay, so man is just passive in the nature. Okay, so this is what he implies. Okay, so the author implies that his first definition of sanctuary, then he says, but this general definition is too absolute for any special case. Okay, that means it is too absolute, as in too it is excessive, or it is something that is too final for any special case. So is he saying it is totally wrong? No, he's not saying it is totally wrong. He's saying it is somewhat idealistic. Okay, we are going by a definition which is somewhat idealistic and is not the case now, but he's not saying that it is not true. Okay, it's not the case now, it is too idealistic. That's why that's what it says. Okay, so the right answer would be B. He says the word too absolute over here, and yet he admits that the less man upsets the balance of nature over here. Beneficiary active destroying. Okay, the fact that man protects a sanctuary. Self-control and okay. So he says the less he upsets the balance of nature, the better. Okay, so hence the definition is not entirely right because it is too idealistic. Okay, somewhat idealistic. So 2 is the right answer for this one. Alright, moving on to the next question. The author's argument that destroying bot flies and mosquitoes would be a beneficial action is most weakened by all of the following except. Okay, so this statement has to weaken except one. Okay, so let's see which one it is. Parasites have an important role to play in the regulation of population. No, so this is weakening it. Okay, so eliminated. The elimination of any species can have unpredictable effect on balance of nature. Again, it is weakening it. The pests themselves are part of the food chain. No, again it is weakening it. These insects have been introduced to the area by human activities. Okay, this is not weakening it, this is strengthening the point even more. Okay, that because of human activities, these insects and these mosquitoes have started breeding in because of human activities, and they're not part of food chain. They do not have any effect on balance of nature. They do not play an important role in regulation of population. Elimination of these insects would require the use of insecticides that kill a wide range of insects. Okay, of course it would. So again it is but they do not kill a wide range of insects. Again, it is not, it is something that is weakening it. So they are saying in the last statement that they are saying that because lot of insects will be killed by applying these insecticides, so that's why people are not using insecticides. No, that is also weakening the diluting the whole statement. Only one, these insects have been introduced to the area by human activities, is actually strengthening the whole point that the writer is making. Okay, so it will be option 4. Okay, let me read the question again to you. What does it say? It is a very confusing question. Okay, so the author's argument that destroying bot flies and mosquitoes would be beneficial. So he's saying it would be beneficial if you destroy these bot flies and mosquitoes. I'm using too much hands, I think. Okay, so that's what the author is saying. Action is most weakened by all. Okay, except is most weakened by all. So he's saying killing is good. Killing these mosquitoes are good. That's what he's saying. Okay, now all the other options that are there, all the other options A, B, C, D and E, they are saying no, killing these animals and pesticides and insecticides would cause an effect or is not good. Okay, so this is saying it is good, the author is saying it is good, and most of the points are saying it is not good. Okay, there's only one point that is supporting the author, that is option D. Are you getting it? Okay, let me just show you the question once again. The author's argument that destroying bot flies and mosquitoes would be a beneficial action. Okay, so just look at this. This is his point of view. This is the author. Okay, is most weakened by all of the following. It is being weakened. Okay, it is becoming weakened. These are not supporting. How does a point become weak? It becomes weak when it is not supporting the author. Okay, so here all these are not supporting the author except one. This option D is supporting the author. These insects have been introduced to the area by human activities. Chandrini is not confusing, Shubham, it's a bouncer. Okay, so how do you want me to approach? Do you want me to take the question once again? Do you want me to read the passage once again, or do you want me to continue? Is question number 2 clear? First of all, guys, please interact. What are you not able to understand? Please tell me. Okay, okay. This is a GRE GMAT sort of question. It is not something that will come for either IBPS, PO, clerical or SSC. But anyhow, it's a good question. It will Jay Muli, you are very late. This question is eating people's brains out. So please, you'll have to sit this one out, I guess. I don't know. Guys, please start talking. What is wrong with the question? Okay, now, question number 2 is, I'll just explain it once again so that it is clear to all of you, okay? Question number 2 says, the author's argument. And what is the author's argument? He says that destroying botflies and mosquitoes would be a beneficial action. Okay, so he's saying do not kill the whales, do not kill elephants, do not kill lions, do not kill tigers, kill botflies and mosquitoes. Okay, and this will be beneficial for human beings. This is what the author is saying. Okay, this is what the author is saying. Now, what is the question asking is, this is what the author is saying. Now, all the statements that are given in the options will weaken the author's perspective, okay, will weaken what the author is saying. So, if the author is talking about pros, all the other statement will talk about cons, okay, benefits and harmful effects, okay. So, except one. That's what the question says, except one, and you have to find out which one is the one that is weakening that point. Okay, where is that statement in the passage? I will show you where it is. Okay, now here, then he can be beneficially active by destroying pests and parasites like botflies and mosquitoes, and by finding antidotes for disease like epidemic till here. Okay, so this is where the author says something like this line. Got it? Okay, now destroying botflies and mosquitoes would be a beneficial action. Is most weakened by all of the following except, so these are the keywords that you should look at, okay, except one, and that is option number D. So 4th is the right answer. I hope it is clear, guys. Is it clear now? Okay, clear. Okay. So can we go, we are moving on to the third question now. Second question, if you keep reading it again and again, you will be able to, clarify all your doubts that you have, the questions that you have, you will be able to understand or get the answer for the questions, okay? So just read it once again. Oh, Jayamurli is saying crystal clear. How come, Jayamurli? You didn't even see the question? Okay, now let's move on to the next question. It can be inferred that the passage is, okay, now it can be inferred. You understand what is inference? Inference is based on what you have, you draw a conclusion. Okay, so what can you draw a conclusion? Is it part of an article in a scientific journal? Do you think it is a part of an article in a scientific journal? No, it is not. Extract from the minutes of a nature club? No. Part of a speech delivered to an educated audience? Okay. A speech delivered in a court of law? Definitely not. From a polemical article published in a magazine? No. Why I kept C, if you see here in the statement over here, but it is the wanton killing of that I am speaking of tonight. Okay, so he is delivering a speech. You can clearly see that he is delivering a speech to an educated audience. So obviously it has to be an educated audience. You have to know your audience before you deliver a speech. So he is speaking in front of an educated audience. It's a speech. It's a part of a speech and it is delivered to an educated audience. Because he says the word that this is what I'm speaking of tonight. That means he is giving a speech, definitely. It's not an article. And speech is being given to an educated audience. Slow this slide. Okay. Yes, you have to choose in the second question. Yes, you have to choose which one is strengthening the previous statement, the statement made by the author. All right, so it will be, for this one it will be option, just look at the question once again, it will be part of a delivered speech. So the answer will be delivered to an educated audience. So the answer would be option C. Okay. Okay, now polemical means, okay, Jay Murli, I will tell you what polemical means. It means it basically means something that is very critical, okay, something that is very it's a bitter article. If you want to say bitter or a critical or even hostile, okay, that is the meaning of polemical. Okay, an article which criticizes something very strongly. That is the meaning of polemical. Generally have foresight, Murli, it means controversial. Yes. Just understood the question. Pal. Okay. Okay. So question number 3 is clear. Moving on to question number 4. What should be the most appropriate central idea of this passage? Now you understood the passage. I also gave you a small gist of it, that this is what the passage means. So let's see. Author argues that man kills big animals but saves mosquitoes and other parasites. This is not what the author is arguing. Man is selfish by nature, so he is up against the wildlife which is harmful for his survival. Again, not what the author is talking about. Ecological balance, if not maintained by man, will be harmful in the long run. Yes, he talks about ecological balance and how it is not being done right, how man is killing big animals and saving all these parasites and mosquitoes and not doing anything to kill them, instead killing big animals and they are being affected. Okay, so ecological balance, if not maintained by man, and who's supposed to maintain it? Man. Will be harmful in the long run. Okay, so yes, generally it is. Okay, let me just answer. So the answer is C. Author proposes a program for not disturbing the balance of nature, and no, he is not suggesting any program. In view of the author, man should not intervene in natural environments. He should, but he should kill the ones that are prevalent because of man. Okay, so C will be the right answer. Yes, everyone got this one right at least. Whew. Okay, is it negative is what Jaimuli is asking. Polemical. Yes, it is a negative. It is used in a negative sense. Something that criticizes or condones or controversial sort of magazine. Yes. Controversial magazine, yes. Okay. Let's go to the fifth question, which is, I'm guessing, the last question for this one. Yes. Okay. Tone of the author. Now, tone, we have to this one is something that requires a lot of learning. I will just, okay. Tone of the author as expressed in the passage can be best described. Okay. So, what is the tone of the author? Is it descriptive to analytical? Is he analyzing anything? Is it first descriptive? First it goes from, okay, so we are going from intro to conclusion. Okay, so how is he going? Is he going descriptive and then analytical? Sarcastically humorous. Is it humorous? No, he did not add sarcasm. Yes, sarcasm was there in where he speaks about here, right here. The sarcasm is here. I have just defined a sanctuary as a place where a man is passive and the rest of the nature is active, but this general definition is too absolute. So he is being sarcastic, yes, but it is not humorous. Definitely not humorous. That does not have the element of fun in it. Objective to narrative. Okay, now objective to narrative. No, again, he's not narrating any story, so the conclusion does not have any narration. Sarcastically critical to suggestive. Okay, now sarcastically critical. Is he sarcastically criticizing something? Yes, he is. He is criticizing human beings. He is criticizing what we are doing. To suggestions. Then he is giving suggestions as well. In the end, he gives suggestions. If you can see over here, then the mere fact that man is to protect sanctuary does away with the purely passive attitude. Then he can be beneficially active by destroying pests. This is the suggestion part. From here has proved into till here it is suggestion. So if you just look at this, you don't even have to go to the previous passage, you just have to look at this. So here itself you can see he's being sarcastic till over here, and then he's giving suggestion as to what to do. Okay, so the answer would be sarcastically critical to suggestive, D. He's not being negative, no. So D is the right answer. Third, the right answer will be D, option D. So very nice passage. I am not sure how many of you could wrap your head around the idea that something can be this difficult. But yes, it was a very nice passage. I hope I have clarified your questions, your doubts. Okay, now if you think about it, doubt is something that happens in the mind, right? It is. So how can it be called as doubt clarification session? Anyways, okay. So Shubham, please tell me that if it is okay till here, we'll move on to the next question. I think the next question is also posted by you. So please let me know if it is clear. Please explain why not B and C missed. Okay. Now, if you look at B, sarcastically humorous. Is there any factor of humor in the passage? Absolutely no, not. Okay, there is no humor in the passage. He is not talking about something, he used sarcasm, but he did not use humor anywhere. So that's why not B. Objective to narrative. He is not giving an objective that this is what I'm going to discuss about and this is the objective of the entire passage, and then he narrates a story to you. He is not narrating anything. Okay, so that's why not B and not C.